We're live.
Woo! All right. Last night, we had the privilege of seeing the greatest player in the world down 13 with about 10 minutes left in a pivotal game five, not at home, take over and beat the best defense in the NBA to win the game. Blake, tell me, what are your thoughts on Bucks Celtics game five?
Well, first of all, Giannis is easily by far the best player in the world. I don't even, it's like the gap between Giannis and the next best player is as big as the gap was when LeBron was the best player in the world. Because I was trying to think of like, well, who would be number two? Okay, so you have Joel Embiid, LeBron. You can throw in KD still, Steph maybe, and I'm like,
You better
I don't
throw in
think.
Jokic if you're throwing in Embiid. Jokic is better than
Okay,
Embiid. So
Jokic can be in the top 10 discussion. But okay, Jokic. But I'm like thinking, I'm like, all of these players are
even you
not
add
even
in like
close.
Ja Morant.
Oh yeah, he's not even close.
Well, I know,
Yeah,
but he's one of the best players.
yeah, or like even Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Like Devin Booker. Like no one is even on the same playing field as Giannis right now. And I think that it just shows how much better he is than everyone because everyone was saying Kevin Durant was the best player in the world. And you saw what he did versus this exact same team. And he had Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
Giannis is doing this without his second best player. He goes for 40 points and 11 rebounds on, what was it, 57% shooting last
Something like
night,
that. Yeah.
and just completely willed his team to a pivotal game 5 win in Boston. You can go ahead. I
Yeah.
mean,
No, it was amazing. I let's talk about the last um three pivotal Bucks possessions because the Bucks are down six after the Horford put back dunk, which
yeah.
Horford, where did that come from?
No.
I've never seen him jump
Dude.
that high. Drug test him
Yeah.
immediately. That was great. I like jumped out of my seat. I was like, wow, Celtics are going to pull this off. This is
I know.
insane. And then the next play, Giannis gets the offensive rebound and makes the three to put it in within three. So a clutch 3-pointer. And then the next play, Drew Holiday gets the three.
The hits
And
of
then
yeah.
it's the three. Yeah. And then the next play, Bucks are down two now because they had scored. But anyways, Bucks are down two. Giannis gets fouled. He hits a clutch free throw. He misses the second one. Bobby Portis makes it or gets the rebound, makes it. Bucks are up, and then there's the game. So the thing that was most impressive to me is Giannis. His two biggest weaknesses were his range and his free throw shooting, and he did both of those in the clutch. And
Yep.
maybe we would be talking about it different if Bobby Portis doesn't get that rebound. And we're like, man, if Giannis had made that second one, they could have forced overtime.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen. But he still hit the
The
one.
first. Yeah.
And the fact that he hit the three that then started the run to get
I
back
know.
into the game.
Well, because if he doesn't hit that three, then they're down six with like a minute left or something,
Yeah.
and
And Boston's
Boston
going to
has the
use all
ball.
24 seconds.
Yeah, or you're gonna have to foul,
Yeah. And
and
then
then
they'll likely
maybe
go
they're
up
up
eight.
eight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. All while having blood dripping down his
I know.
freaking eye from the friendly fire shot from Pat Connaughton. Accidental elbow there. But it was amazing. And then let's talk about how the real defensive player of the year, Drew Holiday,
Yeah,
locked up the defensive player of the year, Marcus Smart. Holy crap.
yeah,
That block was one of the best blocks I've ever seen live. Because when I was watching, I'm like, Drew Holiday's like what? Like when you watch the replay, Drew Holiday doesn't look like he can get there. He's too far away, and then he
yeah.
still gets it perfectly.
I
and
know.
gets the steal. Sorry, I
Well,
can talk about you.
back to the block though. The fact that he was able to grab it, stay in bounds, and then throw it off of him to keep possession.
Yeah, blocks it and gets the rebound, which insult to injury. And I'm not going to throw Marcus Smart under the bus for that shot. I think that was a good shot. If
Yeah, and he
Drew
just didn't
Holiday
see it.
doesn't come over for the help, he had beat Pat Connaughton and was
Yeah,
likely going to make that layup, put him up one,
exactly.
and put the game away. I am going to give Marcus Smart a hard time for why he didn't pass it to Jason Tatum on that last play.
Yeah,
Tatum was wide open
I don't
for
think
the
he was
three.
looking, or I don't know if he couldn't see him because if you watch the play, there's like three guys swarming on him. You got, I think it was Pat Connaughton. I know Bobby Portis was there, and then Drew Holiday came up with the steal. But I'm wondering if Bobby Portis or something was like blocking his view of
Yeah,
Jason Tatum
maybe.
because he was pretty swarmed. And I mean, everything's happening so fast.
Yeah, I mean, it was still going to be a difficult pass
Yeah.
to get off, but the fact that Drew Holiday just locked him up, I told my roommates because we were watching it, we were freaking out. I was like, Drew Holiday might be the most underrated player in NBA history. The fact that he's never been an All-Star is a
I know.
shame, and I don't think he's ever
Seriously.
even made like an All-Defensive team, which is a huge shame.
Yeah.
And that needs to change. Fans, we need to vote Drew Holiday into the All-Star game next year. If Andrew freaking Wiggins can be a
Seriously.
starting
A
All-Star,
starter. Yeah.
Drew Holiday needs to be the MVP of the All-Star game.
It's true.
But yeah, I think it's also this is super impressive because Chris Middleton isn't there, and just to see how Giannis has stepped up.
I know.
And I was watching First Things First, and they were talking about how it's these pivotal moments that separate the great players from the greatest players.
Yeah.
Because he's like, if you look at it, if Giannis doesn't make that three, they likely lose the game, and then they're down 3-2 going into Milwaukee, and Boston was going to be the favorites to win the title. Like that's what the Vegas odds said. But then that didn't happen, and now they're probably going to lose.
Well, and the fact that
Milwaukee.
I think it was with like a minute 30 left in the game or something, the probability of the Celtics winning was 94%. And the Bucks, just because of their championship pedigree, were able to pull it out. And another interesting thing that well, I guess it's not that interesting, but just a cool thing is I feel like Giannis just always steps up to the challenge. Like he doesn't care what people say about him, anything like that. And the fact that he was like what 2 for 19 on threes in this
It
series,
was 10%. So I think he was 2 for 20.
2 for 20, yeah. And then still is just like, I'm the best player in the world. I'm going to hit this three.
And that's
because he knows the work he's put in.
And that's not the first time I've seen Giannis do that. I remember against the Nets in the regular season this year, Giannis hit the three at the buzzer beater to win the game and then made the clutch free throws. Yeah, I was like, does he have any weaknesses anymore?
Exactly.
I don't think so.
Because really, are those weaknesses if he can hit the shots when it matters most?
In the clutch, if he can hit it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, is that, I don't consider that a weakness, even if you go 2 for 20, but then when you have to make a three, can you make a three? When you have to make a free throw, can you make a free throw? And he does.
Yeah. It's a sight to behold. And then if you want to compare, that's what I was going to say. On the opposite end, I feel bad for you Celtics fans out there. This has got to be a rough day because like the Celtics had this and the Bucks played hard and fought for it. I'm not taking it away from them, but the Celtics had so many stupid mistakes in that last minute because Giannis's three came off of a missed rebound. And then Drew Holiday's three was off of a turnover.
Yeah.
And then Bobby Portis's putback was off of Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown smacking the ball out of each other's hands.
I know.
Like, if they secure that rebound, those 2 turnovers aside, you secure that
Yeah.
rebound, and
You still got a good chance of winning.
yeah, well, they would have been up 1, fouled immediately, and then
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So
Well,
yeah,
another thing I just want to say about Giannis is I don't know if you've noticed this, but he rarely, if not ever, complains about anything.
yeah.
Like
I
I
hadn't noticed it, but now that you pointed out, I'm like, yeah, he's never mouthing off to the refs. He never does the LeBron.
yeah,
Uh,
or like gets in the face of the refs and is like, what's
yeah,
like, and you see Luca and Chris Paul and
they
they
chirp all day.
every single play they're looking over at the refs saying something. And
Yeah,
um if you ever watch any of Giannis's post-game interviews, he is just so humble about everything. And I don't know if you heard this, but it was game 4, I think, when they had the huge free throw discrepancy in the fourth quarter. Like
yeah.
Celtics had shot 17, Bucks 0, and they were like asking him his thoughts on that, and he's like, I don't. He's like, how much is the fine? And they're like $25,000, and he's like, I gotta buy diapers, so
I gotta.
I'm not gonna comment on that. Like he just doesn't complain. He just keeps a level head, doesn't get too high, not too low, and he's so over aggressive the entire game, which I love.
Well, and did you see? There's another interview where he was laying on the floor when him and Marcus Smart were like,
Yeah.
and they're like, "What were you thinking when you were laying there?" And he was like, "I was thinking about like what dad jokes I could tell.
Yeah. If I left the fridge
If
open.
I left the fridge open."
I'm just like
uh,
he's so just has the perfect personality, doesn't he's so likable
yeah.
to go because like Luca is amazing, but man, he is not likable, in my opinion. Like,
Okay, I thought it was just me as the Suns fan watching, right? Because I'm like, man, like I like Luca as he's a great player, but man, he's starting to kick me
I
off.
know it's he's just like a big baby, and I'm like, dude, just play.
Yeah.
But
And even as as a Suns fan, I will acknowledge Chris Paul chirps way too much. Devin Booker, it's starting to rub off on him.
yeah,
I mean, Devin Booker always was kind of a complainer, anyways, before
yeah.
Chris Paul got there.
Oh, and
But
he just has a punchable face too. So
hey, the man can't help his punchable face. Klay Thompson suffers from that same symptom.
it's true.
All right. They're great guys, though.
Yeah,
Well, and this is what's so cool is I think it's funny how the NBA awards have kind of just, you know, been proven to be silly
yeah,
because I still think I still would have given it to Jokic this year, but Giannis is clearly showing he's the greatest basketball player in the world, most valuable. And then Drew Holiday could be argued to be the defensive player of the year.
yeah,
And um, all while, and Joel Embiid, if you want to look at other superstars who, in their series right now, like Joel Embiid had one of the worst playoff games
yeah. But
ever.
he's also really banged up. He has a torn ligament in his hand, broken face, just got back from a concussion. Like,
Yeah,
he,
and the game in Philly, he was amazing, and the game in Miami, he sucked.
well, that's true. I guess if you're gonna give him credit for the win, you gotta.
Yeah, like if he was struggling in those other 2 games, then yeah, but he was still playing great.
Yeah, that's true. So
Um, yeah, and just even comparing him to the other superstars, Giannis right now, like you know, in Suns Mavericks, Luka's clearly the best player in that series, but it's not the best team. And
yeah,
so like they'll likely lose tonight.